worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome to Millennium News Hour. I am Tanzeeba Naurin. In today's bulletin, we will present top and trending news from across the nation and the world. Let's begin with the headlines of the day. Donald Trump attacks judge during combative testimony in civil fraud trial. Yellen will host the Chinese vice premier for talks in San Francisco before the start of APEC summit. Republican Peter Meijer, who supported Trump's impeachment, enters Michigan's U.S. Senate race. An 11-year-old killed in Cincinnati has been identified and police are seeking the shooter. Biker bar shooting in Denver that left 2 dead, 5 injured is under investigation. 3 found dead inside Missouri home, high levels of carbon monoxide detected. Israel steps up war as Hamas says Gaza deaths near 10,000. U.S. top diplomat Blinken meets Turkish FM for tough Israel-Gaza talks. U.S. orders Puerto Rico drug distribution company to pay $12 million in opioid case. Nobel Peace Prize laureate Nargis Mohammadi goes on a hunger strike while imprisoned in Iran. Hamburg airport hostage standoff over, suspect arrested. Bangladesh ends 6-match losing streak with Sri Lanka win. And ridiculous, pathetic, not cool, cricket world reacts to Matthews getting timed out. You were listening to Headlines, now news in detail. Donald Trump testified in a New York courtroom in a civil fraud trial that has placed the former U.S. president's business practices under scrutiny. Trump's appearance in the Manhattan courtroom on Monday follows testimony from 2 of his sons last week, and Trump himself could face questions about dubious accounting practices that a judge has already deemed fraudulent. It is a very sad situation for our country, Trump told reporters outside of the courtroom, calling his critics thugs and the trial a form of political warfare. Trump was previously placed under a narrow gag order after making disparaging remarks about court staff. The ex-president is struggling with a long list of legal woes, including 4 criminal trials, some related to his alleged efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election, in addition to the civil trial focused on his practices as a businessman. Yet, his legal troubles have done little to damage his popularity with Republican voters, and he remains the overwhelming favorite in the race to become the party's candidate for the 2024 U.S. election. New York state lawyers have argued that Trump used deceptive methods to artificially inflate his net worth, winning him access to favorable loans and deals. In late September, Judge Arthur Engoron ruled that Trump had indeed committed fraud for years by massively overstating his wealth. Several other claims in the case have yet to be resolved alongside potential punishment. New York Attorney General Letitia James, who brought the case against Trump, his sons Donald Jr. and Eric, and executives with the Trump Organization, is seeking $250 million in fines and a ban on Trump or his sons from doing business in New York State. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen will host Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng for 2 days of talks this week, the latest in a series of high-level talks between U.S. and Chinese officials as the world's two largest economies aim to ease tensions, the Treasury Department announced Monday. The Yellen-He talks set for Thursday and Friday come ahead of the start of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in San Francisco, which starts November 11. President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping are expected to meet next week during the summit, what would be the first engagement between the two leaders in nearly a year. As a foundation, our two nations have an obligation to establish resilient lines of open communication and to prevent our disagreements from spiraling into conflict, Yellen wrote in a Washington Post op-ed to spotlight the upcoming meeting. But we also know that our relationship cannot be circumscribed to crisis management. The meeting between the two senior government officials comes after Biden spoke with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi at the White House for about an hour late last month, when Beijing's top diplomat came to Washington for talks with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. She similarly met with Blinken in June when the Secretary of State traveled to Beijing for talks with Wang. Peter Meijer, a Republican who served one term in Congress before being ousted by voters following a vote to impeach then-President Donald Trump, announced Monday that he will run for an open U.S. Senate seat in Michigan. Meijer joins a field of more than a dozen candidates vying for a seat that has been held by Democratic Senator Debbie Stabenow for more than 2 decades. Stabenow shocked many in the state in January by announcing her retirement, creating a wide open race in the battleground state. My wife and I prayed hard about this race and how we can best serve our state and our nation. We considered every aspect of the campaign and are confident we have the best chance of taking back this seat for the Republicans and fighting hard for a conservative future, Meijer said in a statement on X, formerly known as Twitter. We are in dark and uncertain times, but we have made it through worse. The challenges are great, but so is our country. If we are to see another great American century, we need leaders who aren't afraid to be bold, will do the work, and can't be bought. Meijer is an heir to a Midwestern grocery store empire. His name recognition and fundraising ability instantly make him a top candidate in one of the nation's most competitive Senate races. He joins former U.S. Representative Mike Rogers and former Detroit Police Chief James Craig in the Republican field, while the Democratic field has been led by U.S. Representative Elissa Slotkin and includes actor Hill Harper. A 11-year-old boy killed in a weekend shooting in Cincinnati was identified Monday by the Hamilton County Coroner's Office as Dominic Davis. Police Chief Terry Tighe told reporters Sunday that a shooter in a sedan fired 22 rounds in quick succession into a crowd of children just before 9:30 p.m. Friday on the city's West End. No suspect has been arrested. A 53-year-old woman was hit along with the boy who died. 3 other boys aged 12, 13 and 15 and a 15-year-old girl. One victim was hospitalized in stable condition. PG said it was too early to say whether the shooting was random or targeted and declined to discuss other aspects of the investigation. The shots were fired in a vibrant neighborhood next to a park and near a historic elementary school, said Mayor of the Pureville at the news conference. Dominic Davis' father, Isaac Davis, came forward at the Sunday news conference along with Dominic's mother and grandmother and also urged whoever was responsible to turn themselves in. When will this stop? Will this ever stop? Isaac Davis asked. How many people have to bury their kids, their babies, their loved ones? Pureville called it a horrific tragedy. 2 men were killed and 5 other people were injured in a shooting after a confrontation at a private after-hours motorcycle club in Denver over the weekend, police said. Denver Police Lieutenant Matt Clark says they are investigating the shooting that happened around 3 a.m. Sunday, both inside and outside the Hells Lovers Motorcycle Club. We do have evidence of multiple guns being discharged during this incident, Clark said at a news conference on Sunday. And anytime we look at this with multiple victims, multiple guns being fired, we consider the possibility that people who may have been hit by gunfire also had a gun and discharged one. Sharif Alim, a Park Hill resident who lives nearby, told the Denver Post he was awakened just after 3 a.m. and heard about 20 gunshots, which he initially thought was fireworks. For about 3 to 5 seconds, it was like silence. Then everybody was screaming, he said. He watched people jump into their cars and speed away in the aftermath, he said. Police did not release the conditions of those who were hospitalized. All of the victims were adults and a woman was among those injured, the Post reported. No arrests were announced on Sunday, but KMGH TV crews saw SWAT officers lead 5 men out of the club and 3 were handcuffed. 3 men were found dead Monday morning at a Kansas City, Missouri home after a report of carbon monoxide at the home. The Kansas City Fire Department responded to the scene just before 7:30 a.m. and found 3 men believed to be in their 20s. Their names and exact ages have not been released. Fire officials say crews detected elevated levels of carbon monoxide inside the home, but the official cause of death remains under investigation. Police have taken over the investigation. We will be back after a short break. Till then, stay with us. This world continuously revolving around various events. Every minute, every second, something is happening somewhere around the globe, and you want to get connected to that event or to that specific moment. Here we come, Millennium News Hour, to get you connected with top USA and international trending news, which includes local news, political news, world news, business news, health and science related news, entertainment news, sports news, and so on. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for all at TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV, and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia, available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network, and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with Millennium News Hour to get the world news on your fist. Welcome back to Millennium News Hour. Now it's time for global updates. Israeli forces pushed on with intense strikes targeting Palestinian militants in Gaza on Monday as the war neared 1 month and the Hamas-run health ministry's death toll approached 10,000 inside the besieged territory. Determined to destroy Hamas, whose October 7 attack left 1,400 dead in Israel and saw over 240 hostages taken. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed no let-up despite mounting international calls for a ceasefire. Ground forces have flooded the northern half of the Gaza Strip and tightened an encirclement of Gaza City, even as hundreds of thousands of civilians remain there despite Israeli evacuation orders. Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry said Monday more than 200 people had died in overnight massacres, a day after reporting a total death toll of more than 9,770, mostly women and children. Israel's ally, the United States, has sent its top diplomat Antony Blinken on a whirlwind Middle East tour that has been marked by strong condemnation of Israel, including on his latest stop, Turkey. The heads of major United Nations agencies issued a joint statement calling for a ceasefire inside the territory of 2.4 million people, where an Israeli siege has cut off most water, food and fuel supplies. United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken has met his Turkish counterpart as he continued a challenging Middle East tour aimed at easing regional tensions over the Israel-Hamas war. Blinken met Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan for 2.5 hours on Monday morning in the Turkish capital Ankara, but was snubbed by President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Blinken's main mission was to buy more time for Israel. Tamer Kermod, professor in public policy at the Doha Institute for Graduate Studies, told Al Jazeera. And the Turks know this. That's why he got this cold reception, he said. Blinken's trip to Turkey follows on the heels of strained meetings with Arab leaders in Iraq, Palestine, and Jordan over the weekend. Arab and Muslim leaders have expressed frustration over Washington's staunch backing of Israel as it continues its month-long assault on Gaza, killing more than 10,000 people, more than a third of them children. Washington has supported the need for a humanitarian pause to the fighting, but has stopped short of joining much of the world in calling for a full truce. One of Puerto Rico's biggest distributors of pharmaceutical drugs was ordered to pay $12 million after being accused of not reporting hundreds of suspicious orders for controlled substances, the U.S. Justice Department said Monday. Drogeria Betances LLC is accused of not reporting at least 655 orders for fentanyl and at least 113 orders for oxycodone from 2016 through June 2019. The others were considered suspicious given in part their frequency and size, the department said. The company also is accused of hundreds of record-keeping violations and of not submitting reports of its distribution transactions to the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, including those involving opioids, from May 2017 to July 2018. Officials said. In addition, the company was ordered to improve its compliance program and report suspicious orders to the DEA, among other things. The complaint filed by the U.S. government comes after the U.S. territory of 3.2 million people reported a surge in deadly overdoses related to opioids, from 19 deaths in 2017 to 521 in 2021, according to the newest figures available. Nobel Peace Prize laureate Nargis Mohammadi began a hunger strike Monday over being blocked along with other inmates from getting medical care and to protest the country's mandatory headscarves for women, a campaign advocating for the activist said. The decision by Mohammadi increases pressure on Iran's theocracy over her incarceration, a month after being awarded the Nobel for her years of activism despite a decades-long campaign by the government targeting her. Meanwhile, another incarcerated activist, lawyer Nasrin Sotoudeh, reportedly needs medical care she has yet to receive. She was arrested while attending a funeral for a teenage girl who died under disputed circumstances in Tehran's metro while not wearing a hijab. The Free Nargis Mohammadi campaign, citing a statement from her family abroad, said she sent a message from Evin prison on Monday and informed her family that she started a hunger strike several hours ago. It said Mohammadi and her lawyer for weeks have sought her transfer to a specialist hospital for heart and lung care. Police arrested a man and rescued a child at the center of a hostage standoff at Hamburg airport yesterday, ending a crisis that had forced authorities to close the busy air hub. A man who police said was suspected of carrying a gun and possibly explosives drove a vehicle through the gates of the airport on Saturday night, officers said. Police said the 35-year-old man was with his 4-year-old daughter and was thought to be involved in a custody dispute. The hostage situation is over, the city's police force wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter, yesterday afternoon. The suspect got out of the car with his daughter. The man was arrested by the emergency services without resistance. The child appears to be unharmed, it added. The airport said it was working to resume operations as quickly as possible. A total of 286 flights with around 34,500 passengers had been scheduled for yesterday, it said earlier. I wish the mother, the child and her family a lot of strength to cope with this terrible experience, Hamburg Mayor Peter wrote on X. Now it's time for business news. Today's New York stock close price is 15,440.50. The NYSE composite is increased by 34.70 points or 0.22%. Tokyo stock close price is 32,708.48. The Nikkei 225 index is increased by 758.59 points or 2.37%. Shanghai stock close price is 3,058.41. The Shanghai index is increased by 27.61 points or 0.91%. Hong Kong stock close price is 17,966.59. The Hang Seng index is increased by 302.47 points or 1.71%. Bombay stock close price is 64,958.69. The Sensex index is increased by 594.91 points or 0.92%. Let's have a look on today's sports stories. Bangladesh put a stop to their 6-match losing streak with a 3-wicket win over Sri Lanka in their ICC World Cup fixture at the Arun Jaitley Stadium in Delhi on Monday. Najmul Hossain Shanto scored a 101-ball-90 and Bangladesh skipper Shakib Al Hasan smashed a 65-ball-82 to help their side to only their second victory of the tournament. The duo put on a 169-run stand for the third wicket, Bangladesh's first 100-plus partnership of the tournament and their highest ever for the third wicket, which helped trump their late hiccup that saw Bangladesh lose 5 wickets for 72 runs. Sri Lanka pacer Dilshan Madhushanka picked up 3 wickets while Mahesh Theekshana scalped 2. The win propelled Bangladesh to 7th on the table above England, Netherlands and Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's Angelo Matthews was on Monday controversially given timed out in an ICC World Cup clash against Bangladesh, becoming the first man to suffer the dismissal in the 146-year history of international cricket. The former captain took more than 2 minutes to take a strike and opposition skipper Shakib Al Hassan appealed, which was upheld by the on-field umpire. Matthews came into bat after the fall of Sadira Samaravikrama in the 25th over but was unable to secure his helmet strap tightly enough, an action which delayed the resumption of play. Following the Bangladesh appeal, the umpires held a lengthy discussion with the players, including Matthews. They ruled Matthews to be out, and the 36-year-old veteran reluctantly trudged off, with most spectators appearing bemused by the decision. Some Bangladesh fans applauded. My point is that Matthews' dismissal was not good for the spirit of cricket. Sri Lanka's Charit Asalanka, who smashed a century in the match, told the broadcasters. Former Bangladesh cricketer Atahar Ali Khan echoed the same view while commentating on the match. Former Pakistan captain Ramit Raja said it was the batter's duty to be ready within the stipulated time. To a certain degree, it is an onus on cricketers to learn the rules and understand the spirit of the rules, Raja said. Most of us don't, but the umpires were on top of the situation. It was a tough call to make. According to laws of cricket, after the fall of a wicket or the retirement of a batsman, the incoming player must be ready to receive the ball within 2 minutes. The Association of Cricket Satisfactions and historians said there have been 6 instances of timed out in first-class cricket. Let's have a look on today's weather forecast. Before finishing today's news, let's hear out the headlines again. Donald Trump attacks judge during combative testimony in civil fraud trial. Yellen will host the Chinese vice premier for talks in San Francisco before the start of APEC summit. Republican Peter Meijer, who supported Trump's impeachment, enters Michigan's U.S. Senate race. An 11-year-old killed in Cincinnati has been identified and police are seeking the shooter. Biker bar shooting in Denver that left 2 dead, 5 injured is under investigation. 3 found dead inside Missouri home, high levels of carbon monoxide detected. Israel steps up war as Hamas says Gaza deaths near 10,000. US top diplomat Blinken meets Turkish FM for tough Israel-Gaza talks. US orders Puerto Rico drug distribution company to pay $12 million in opioid case. Nobel Peace Prize laureate Nargis Mohammadi goes on a hunger strike while imprisoned in Iran. Hamburg airport hostage standoff over, suspect arrested. Bangladesh end 6-match losing streak with Sri Lanka win. And ridiculous, pathetic, not cool, cricket world reacts to Matthews getting timed out. That's all for today. Keep watching Millennium News Hour for latest news update. To stay updated, like our Facebook page, subscribe our YouTube channel and visit our website. Our website address is www.millenniumnews24.com. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for all TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia, available with the Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with us for all the latest news worldwide. Thank you.